Hello there, college algebra students. This is Mr. Kashi speaking. In this video, we're going to switch to some algebra for our 2-1 lesson on radical functions here. And this next couple of slides are going to be some algebra examples dealing with extraneous solutions, or those are solutions that might not satisfy the original equation. So I'll kind of show what a graph would look like dealing with extraneous solutions, but here we're just dealing with the algebra side. So really what we're trying to do is we're trying to solve for x. We're going to be using a lot of different algebra techniques that you've learned over the years. The first one would be obviously we have to get x alone, but the x is on two sides of the equation, but it's also trapped underneath that radical. So the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to add 2 on both sides. We get 2x plus 2 equals the square root of 100 minus 12x. Once again, this might be going a little bit fast. You can go always pause or rewind, but it's important to keep all these things in order when we're going through. The next step after that, to get rid of the square root, we would be squaring both sides. The right-hand side, the radical would just go away. And the left-hand side, we have to actually multiply out, FOIL it out like this. So we have 2x plus 2. And then the right-hand side, we just take that radical away. 100 minus 12x. And so on the left-hand side, you'd FOIL that out. FOIL that out. Once you do that, you're getting get 4x squared plus 8x plus 4. And we have 100 minus 12x. And so now we want to get 0 on one side. We have a quadratic equation now, but we have to kind of bring the 12x over, bring the 100 over, so here we would add 12x on both sides. And then I'm going to do this in the same step. I'm going to subtract the 100 from both sides, just like this. And then we're left with 4x squared, not equals, sorry, plus 20x. And then that would be minus 96 equals 0. So now we have that. That's a quadratic equation. You could use the quadratic formula if you'd like. Hopefully you can take a look at that and see that it might be able to be solved. So I'm going to come back up here to the right, and I'm going to factor out a 4 from all of those. So I have x squared in there, and 20 divided by 4, we would have a 5x. And then if you take 96 and divide it by 4, you would get 24. So this would be 24, and that's equal to 0. Now we're able to factor that. If you wanted to do your diamond, you can do that. But we're basically looking for factors that multiply to negative 24 and add up to 5. So we can split that up into x plus 8 and x minus 3. Hopefully you guys, if you need to use the diamond method, I get that, or the use your diamond for that. Then we would set each one of these equal to 0 for our final step. So obviously subtract 8 on both sides. X equals negative 8. Add 3 on both sides. X equals 3. So those would be our two solutions. The one thing, like I was talking about before, I'll get a little bit more in depth of what it actually is, but we have to go through and we want to check these two solutions. We don't want to just leave them in this case. So we're going to see if negative 8 actually works. So I'm going to go back to our original equation. Okay, go back to this and plug negative 8 in and see if it works. Now, it's obviously going to be a lot faster if you use a calculator in this case. So we would have, let's see, we'd have 100 minus 12 times negative 8 minus 2. And on the left-hand side, we would get negative 16, and on the right-hand side, we would get 12. And so, therefore, the negative 8 would not be a solution. Not a solution. If you were to, I'm going to extend the page here a little bit. Hopefully you have enough room on your notes. I'm going to plug in negative 3, a positive 3. I'll do that in green here. So we have 2 times 3 equals the square root. We have 100 minus 12 times 3. And then we have the minus 2 at the end. If you're to put the right-hand side in the calculator, hopefully the 2 times 3 on the left-hand side isn't too bad. But if you're to put that on the right-hand side, that is 6 equals 6, which means that this is a solution. So obviously, there's this extra step. There's obviously a lot of steps involved in this case, and this is what I'm talking about, of staying organized, making sure everything is, in the right spot, so you know where you can find it, and making sure when you're, adding things on each side that you know where they went, and not getting confused that way. So we'll go over a couple more examples like this, give you a little break, and have another couple of videos dealing with some different examples.